What, Rich is your thing?
No, I,
Oh, Rich Naked, yeah.
yeah. Someone from his family bought this
Oh,
to see, and I said, well, let me see if I know Reagan with father
oh, okay.
who
Yeah.
made it, not even knowing.
I like it. I like it. Oh. So Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom to all our viewers, and welcome on this Erev Shabbat. Let's begin our service with the singing of Mayafa Hayom, and it's a perfect song for tonight because it means how beautiful is this day, and boy, was today a beautiful day, right?
Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat
Please join the cantor in the lighting of the candles on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And we'll continue on page 123 with the Kiddush and, here, join the cantor in the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu Shabbat Moshe, V'yahavam Ratzon Hilchilanu, Zikaron Masei V'Reishit, Ki Hu Yom Tefilah, L'Misrael Kodesh, Zecher Yitziat
Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat ne Kabbalat. As the sun goes down, the Shabbat bride comes to us on page 138.
Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala yalala yalanai Pnei Shabbat Kabbalat Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala yalala yalanai Pnei Shabbat
And we continue with the Chatzit Kaddish on page 144. Yitkadav Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Bi'alma divrach ruthei v'yamlich malchuthei. B'chayechon uvyomechon. Uv'chayei techal Beit Yisrael. Bagala bagala. Uvizman kariv vimeru.
Amen.
Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olam me'al maya. Yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach. V'yitbar v'yithromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal. Shemei dekudusha. Lehela min kalbechata v'shihirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amihiran be'alma. V'yimeru. Amen. Page 146.
Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai.
You may be seated. And I'd like to invite Talia to come to the bima to lead us in a reading. Page 149.
Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows.
Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Page 151.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into mystery.
Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael, as we rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You may be seated. We continue on the Via Hafta on 154. Please join Talia. You may be seated if you wish.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך Hayom alevavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibartam bam, v'shivtecha bebetecha, uvlechtecha v'aderev, ushebcha uvpumeha, ukshartam leot ayadeha, v'hayula totafot beinenecha, uchtavtam amuzot beitecha uvisharecha, leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeit etchem me'eret Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Emet. Page 157. I'm just going to let Talia do the rest of the service.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands marching together.
Yai, lai, lai, la, yai, la, 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 yai, lai, lai, la, yai, la, 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 yai, lai, la, lai, la, yai, la, 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 yai, la, lai, la, yai, la, la, la,
Please join with me on 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, va'al kol amo va'al Yerushalayim.
Vishamiru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat
We continue on page 164 as we rise and join the cantor in the Amidah.
Adonai, sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu, Ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevii geula libnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava. Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayehem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom melach, melech meimit, umechaya, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh, shimcha kadosh, kadoshim b'chol yom halucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. I'm continuing on page 173. Let these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept our prayers in love.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ve'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatan b'ahava
Modim anachnu lach, so much for us to give thanks for, and I invite you to share if you're grateful, especially for something this week. Anybody?
Well, the weather has now brought us to what is now spring, finally.
As we would say in the old country, Baruch Hashem. Right? Isn't that what we would say in the old country, Rita? Right, Baruch Hashem. Yes, indeed, indeed. Yes.
I have a big niece who's going to be celebrating being 14 tomorrow evening.
14?
Yeah,
Okay. Mazel tov.
thank you.
I don't remember that far back. Do you? No. No. Anybody else? Allie? Yeah.
I opened another pack of accidental apple piments today, so I'm very excited.
Another accidental path of what?
Apple piments.
Oh, you made another one?
Yes, it turns out I got to have dessert for dinner yet again, unplanned. I'm very excited.
That's very good. That's very good.
Full joy.
So the real question is if it turned out really well,
Yeah,
where is it?
I brought one here with me.
Did you? You did. All right. Good. Right. Because we'll have to. We'll grade you. Yeah. Oh, that you're. I'll tell you. I'm looking.
You're serious. He wanted actual dinner.
Oh, I don't want the dinner. I just want the apple
Oh,
thing.
no, I'm saying he expected this to be dinner, but he was like, no, I wanted dinner.
Oh.
He's not seeing this as a blessing that I am.
This is no. Thank you. That's really sweet of you. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Anybody else? Rita? Yes.
I'm just grateful that today we were able to, our family was able to come together and have dinner together because our schedule was so busy all the time. That we
Yeah.
were just all sit
Does
down.
it lighten up in the summer?
A little bit.
Does
A
it?
little bit. Yeah, but with a 17-year-old,
Right.
you never know. 'Cause
Right,
things
right.
come up like apple turnovers.
Right. So I'll tell you. Speaking of apple turnovers. So Alex obviously is in my Teen Academy class. So I'm really grateful for my Teen Academy kids, especially kids like Alex. Alex really gets into Teen Academy. He really does. And at the end of every Teen Academy class, this is what I'm really grateful for. He seems very sad. He's just so downtrodden. Why are you so downtrodden, Alex? Because I want the class to go longer. So let him know that I think I've put together a class for a Sunday morning. I put it on the remind. I'll send another one. I think it was like the 14th of June. It'll be at my house, and we'll learn at my house. So all the Teen Academy kids will come to my house, and Stella will cook. And Allie, if you want to come and make a turnover here.
I didn't make these. I bought them.
Oh, you.
That's why the surprise is so great.
Got it. Got
I
it.
thought these were finished.
Yeah, you see- no, we're into it. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha u'lechana Elohodot. Praised are you, O God, whose name is good, and to whom it is fitting that we all give thanks.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. 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 V'tov
For those who are ill, excuse me, we say our prayers of healing. And this evening, we'll pray for the full recovery of Agnes Ryan and Eric Blumenfeld and Barbara Bascom. And we pray for a refuah shlema, a full and complete recovery. And are there any other names, people that you'd like who are in need of healing?
Jamie Hunt.
Please join the cantor on page 511 for the Mishaberach, and then we'll take some time for our own personal meditation.
Mi Shebeirach Avoti Mikor Avraham Limotinu. May the source of strength bless the one we call.
I just want to share with you a quick thought. In the Parsha this week, we have a really interesting opening line. And the interesting opening line are, this is what God said from Mount Sinai. Not a very exciting opening line. I mean, you would expect to see that in the Torah. But the problem is, what's it doing there? And the Torah has already been revealed. So obviously, these are the words that God said to Moses on Mount Sinai. I mean, that's what the text says. So what's the purpose of saying it? So Rashi, who's a medieval commentator, says, you know, what this was is that God revealed to Moses not just the oral law, not just the written law, but also the oral law. So any new Jewish idea that happens was already revealed at Sinai. Okay, you know, that's a good standard Jewish idea. Anyways, Rashi has a nemesis. Rashi has a nemesis named Nachmanides. Nachmanides is a later philosopher, commentator, and he always quotes Rashi. He says, "Oh, you know, Rashi said that this line means that God revealed the written law and the oral law." And then he does his famous line that says, "But in my eyes, that's not correct." He always says that. He says, you know, Rashi is a good guy, but you know what? He's never right. I mean, you can imagine these guys at dinner. And Nachmanides looks at this and he says, you know, what's really going on here is that this is acting like a colon. Up until this moment, this verse, everything was about the tabernacle. It was about the revelation at Sinai. But from this point on, it is about now we get ready for being in the land of Israel. And he calls this an inflection point, really a point where, you know, the trajectory of the Jewish world is starting to change. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying, you know, this is really an interesting idea because I think he's onto something. How would you define the Jewish world? Right? How do you define the Jewish world? The Jewish world, well, it's not a race because we have Jews of all colors and all ethnic backgrounds. It's not a culture because we have Jews that are Russian and Jews that are Turkish and Jews that are Chinese and, of course, Jews that are Canadian and American, obviously. But I'm being a little chauvinistic here, obviously. Not necessarily sharing the same culture. Is it the same beliefs? Well, now we're getting a little closer, but not really, because when you have two Jews, there are at least three opinions. And in our theology class, or my Torah class, as Rebecca could tell you, everybody's got a different opinion. Everybody's got a different opinion, and we learn from one opinion, we learn from the other opinion. There's no one right answer. There are many right answers. And what Nachmanides is saying is that from that point in the Torah, there are many, many right answers because there are many, many different Jewish traditions. We all know people who are Epicurean Jews. These are Jews who are Jewish through their stomach. They love Jewish food. They're not particularly religious necessarily in the way that we might call religious. Worship might not be as important to them, but they identify their Jewishness through the heritage of food. There are some Jews who identify through worship and through food, right? And there are some Jews who identify through study. I will never forget somebody I met when I was at Camp Harlem many years ago. We went out on a Saturday night after Havdalah, all of the rabbis, and I assure you that listening to 5 rabbis do karaoke in a place at the side of the highway in eastern Pennsylvania is something that you really have to hear. But I met somebody there, and she was actually the waitress, and she said, you know, who are you guys? We've never seen you around here before. And we said, oh, you know, we're from Camp Harlem. And she said, oh, the Jewish summer camp. And then, right, and then she said something that we're just taken aback. She said, you know, I'm Jewish too. And my family came from Lithuania. I think she said Lithuania. My family came from Lithuania, and I've always wanted to connect with them with my history and have never found the time to do it. And so one of us, I don't know if it was me because I'm not sure I was wise enough at the time, said, that is your connection to Mount Sinai. Your connection to Sinai is your family's history. Your connection to Sinai might be food. Your connection to Sinai might be music. Your connection to Sinai might be study. Your connection to Sinai might be prayer. Your connection to Sinai is your Jewish family. And as long as you are identifying as part of the Jewish family, you are continuing the tradition that Nachmanides is talking about. We are all descendants from Sinai, and it matters not one bit how each of us practices our Judaism. One of the funniest things that happened to me it happened over Passover with somebody at Passover. And this person ordered a basket of matzah and a lobster. And that was okay, because that person's connection to Sinai was through the symbolism of the matzah. And that person was as Jewish as you or I. And so, let's take the words of Nachmanides to heart. Each of us finds our connection to Sinai in our own unique way. Talia, in a few years, you're going to be an adult. Well, actually, in a few weeks, I suppose, technically, right? But in a few years, you're going to be an adult, and you're going to make your own decisions, and you're going to make your own connection to Sinai. And that's going to be your gift to yourself that was handed down to you. Paul, whatever your gift is from Sinai, I wouldn't have a service without Paul here. Ali, your connection to Sinai is this congregation and the people here and the warmth and embrace. I know I'm going to forget people, but don't take it personally. Each of us has our connection with Sinai. And I want to encourage all of us not to judge somebody else's connection to Sinai, because their connection to Sinai is as rich and meaningful as yours or mine. And I wish you Shabbat Shalom and have a great weekend at Sinai. Let's continue as we go back to our Siddur, if we would, and let us rise for the Aleinu on page 586. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
At this time, we remember those whom death has taken from us. This evening, we remember Luba Aaron and Eve Berg, Virginia H. Berg, Charles Brower, Morris Bricken, Marilyn Braunstein, Dora Brower, Toby Diskin, Bella Doctorow, Judith Elkin, Agnes Erhard, Charles Frankel, David Friedman, Malcolm P. Gillette, Anna Goldstein, Bell Hockey, Robert Jacobson, Jerome Kaplan, Samson Katz, Lee Klugman, Ann Kreisman, Dr. Faith Lessig, Daniel Lorber, Thomas Robert Mannion, Kenny Nagan, Mary Panaccione, Arlene Querido, Betty Resnikoff, David Resnikoff, Millard Rosenfeld, Don Rotwein, Esfir Segalovsky, Rose Schoenberg, Sidney Sirota, Jack Spergel, Charles Stamler, Mildred F. Tepper, Edward Turkle, Abraham Vogel, Dr. Lewis M. Weber, Harry Weisberg, Elizabeth White, and in the past Shaloshim, the past 30 days, Doris Dobrin, Tammy Casriel, Jean Vital, and Al Gillian. Are there any other names that you'd like mentioned for the yahrzeits? Please join me on page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yama divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yom echon, v'chayei dechal beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'maru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yithromam v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudisha b'richu le'ela minkal birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alama v'imeru. Amen. Yahei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim alenu v'akol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom alenu v'akol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated.
Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
So a couple of announcements. Rebecca reminded me that there is no Torah class online tomorrow. I think we resume next week, the following week, right. So there is no Torah class online. The Social Action Committee is having a very important presentation. The information is out there. It's on bias, anti-Semitism, racism, and so forth in our community. Dinner is included, and it is, I think it's next Thursday. The details are on the flyer right outside. Everybody is encouraged to attend. and teenagers too. So please try to make it if you want. Dinner is included. There are several important announcements. The beach service is on June the 2nd. Have you ever been to a beach service, Ellie? No? Oh, they're a lot of fun. Okay, so the beach service is on June the 2nd. Please sign up online. We'll all drive out, or each of us will drive ourselves out to Breakwater, right? Breakwater Beach Club, and which is just around the corner. We'll have our really great service. We'll come back here, and we're going to have hot dogs and fries and all the really healthy stuff. Right? So that's the beach service. Now, you have to check the temple website for the times of the services. Next week is the Siyum, which is the end of the year service led by our older students. That service begins at 6:30. Then I think there's a couple of following services that are at 7:30, and then the last service, the fourth Friday, is at 6:30. So it's a little bit of a balagan, but please check the website for the time of services. And then in June, we have to do the same thing because we've got bar mitzvahs, and some services are at 6:30 and some at 7:30. But the good thing is that the last Friday of June, we begin our summer services. And summer services means shorts and T-shirts in the backyard. Okay? Shorts and T-shirts in the backyard. Did I forget any announcements? Cantor, did I forget any announcements? Don't think so. Paul, what did I forget? Okay, good. All right. Talia, come on up. You do a much nicer motzi than I do. Motzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in song together, as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon. Can you take a piece of bread?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right after services, we'll go into the foyer and the pre-function area, and we'll have a little apple snack, right? Absolutely. And also Teo has made a beautiful oneg. Our closing song is Adon Olam, and this is an interesting version. Because it is in an impossible key to play.
I will do it a cappella.
So let's do a cappella.
All right.
Okay? Page 625, friends.
Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol
Yitzir nivra le'et nasa
b'chafso kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu echad ve'en sheni lehamshilo lehachbira v'li reshit v'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamizra
Vehu Eli v'chai goali Vehu hebli be'et zahara Vehu nisi
umanosli Menat kosi biyom ekra biyado afkid ruchi ve'tishan ve'aira ve'im ruchi giviati Adonai li velo ira. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless us all and keep us.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May God's face shine over us and be gracious to all of us.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yaseh lecha shalom.
May God's face shine over all of us and give us all the blessings of peace. And we'll see you in the point. Shabbat shalom. You can sit on the VIP. Can you help me down? Thank you, Kendra.